Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone for today's morning reading and discussion. We are starting with a new book of Srila Prabhupada titled as Sri Isopanishad. So let's offer prayers together and then we'll start the discussion. Just a quick second. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, can you confirm if it is online? I don't see it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. All right, yeah, thank you. This Mac is a little difficult to handle. We don't know where the key. All right. Om Jnanathimirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmalitam Vena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupada Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vashatali Shadarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare. You are signed in with the laptop. I'll make you a co-host. So any such noises, you can shut it out. So Hare Krishna, welcome everyone once again. So thank you for your continued interest. Joining us every morning for the reading of Srila Prabhupada books. Just want to see who all are there. Mostly should be the same audience. So, okay. All right. नया दिन, नई शुरुआत, नई किताब, प्रभुपाद के साथ. So, all right, we'll continue our discussion. Audience more or less the same only. Okay, so in this, when you start with this Upanishad book, I'll tell you what is the meaning of this in a short while. Let me take a look at it. It begins with an introduction. That's a homework for all of you to read out. It is based on Prabhupada's lecture, which largely focuses about how Vedas are the ultimate authority. So if you ever have to speak on Vedic scriptures, this is a lecture you want to refer and prepare your notes and speak as it is. A very profound and very comprehensive lecture that Srila Prabhupada gave. And from that, this became the introduction to Isha Upanishad, like that. So Isha Upanishad, this Isha means the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Upanishad, in other words, means to sit near the Guru and hear. To hear what? To hear the signs of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in this, there are 3 concepts which are discussed. There are 18 verses in Isha Upanishad. This is one of the best books. You want to recommend any newcomer to read it. For the beginners, this is one of the best books. Prabhupada purpose are fantastic here. So three things this book establishes. This book does not establish who is Ishwar, because that is a secondary question. Primary question is Ishwar there? This book first of all establishes Ishwar. There is a supreme controller. So in one way, it does not establish the concept of Bhagavan, but establishes the concept of Ishwar, the supreme controller. Then when you talk about the Lord is there, the second question arises, does he have a form or is he formless? Now, the second thing which establishes, yes, the Lord has a form and is also formless. And the third thing which, or maybe the obviously question comes, why there are so many contradictions in the pastimes of the Lord, etc., etc. So therefore, this Upanishad, Upanishad establishes Achintya Bhed Abhed Tattva. These are the three things that it talks about. There is an Ishwar, he has a form, and formless is a subset of his. And third, the knowledge about him is Achintya Bhed Abhed Tattva. A tiny, minuscule creature like us, or like I, for that reason, cannot understand or comprehend everything about the absolute truth. We cannot understand people of this world. What to speak about understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead? That's it, very simple, these three things. But because it is Upanishad, Upanishad are never meant to be simple, so it ain't going to be simple. The verses are very, very tricky, very confusing. However, Prabhupada purpose makes it easy. If you read Bhagavad Gita, you still find it, oh, Bhagavad Gita is easy. Upanishad, very difficult. So Upa means near, Ni means sit down. No, Upa Ni means niche, Upa means near, and Shad means to sit, which means to sit down. So to sit at the lotus feet of Guru and hear about the subject is Isha. Isha Upanishad. Like that. There are 108 Upanishads, and in that, Srila Prabhupada chose to comment on Isha Upanishad because it's a foundation which brings us to Bhagavad Gita then. Because Bhagavad Gita establishes a concept of Bhagavan. Bhagavan means Aishwarasya, Samagrasya, Virayasya, Yashasha, Shriya. These are the six opulences. So Bhagavad Gita elaborately speaks about these six things. Here we don't have discussion on that feature of Bhagavan. Here we have discussion is there is an Ishwar. So generally Upanishad focuses on the concept of Ishwar by providing an abstract idea about it. Whereas then we have Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam gives a complete understanding. Okay, this is a little bit of overview of this. Ati Sundar background music, Prabhu. Silent when o'clock. Hare Krishna. All right, so let's begin with invocation. So, invocation. What is invocation? Generally, every writing, just like we did invocation. Om Jnanati Mirandasya. That's invocation. Just like when we wake up in the morning, we do invocation. Invocation that time also. Om Avitro Pavitro Va Sarva Vashtam Gato Piva Yasmaret Vandirikaksham Musave Vantayasusihi. So that's the invocation for the morning. I mean, you can do this invocation multiple times of the day. So the idea of invocation is to invocation, auspiciousness. So this invocation is not as such part of this Isopanishad. Isopanishad is a part of a text of that. Isopanishad is a part of it, is a part of a bigger text. So invocation is not there. You can consider it as a chapter of a book. So therefore, there's no invocation. This invocation was initially introduced by Bhakti Vinod Thakur in his writing to Isopanishad's commentary. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used it. Srila Prabhupada repeated it. What is the exact reference of it? It is not known. Bhakti Vinod Thakur uses, and a very, very fantastic verse. I mean, you can't have a better introduction to Isopanishad than this verse. Isopanishad is going to be a little tricky subject matter. And look how tricky is this invocation also. Om Purnam Madha Purnam Idam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Purna 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 Purnam. That's what the invocation is all about. It's all about Purna 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 Purna. Okay, let's take a look at the translation. Very interesting. All right, Mother Madam, your hand is up. Read the translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, and because he is completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because he is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. Thank you, Prabhu.
Om Purna 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 Purna. The complete, and the complete. Like that. Anyway, so invocation is about generally the three things which is done through invocation. Chaitanya Charitamrita addresses the subject matter because we're reading it. Just want to give you a little bit of definition of it. First is to offer obeisances and offer respects to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then to express our gratitude to our teachers who have taught us everything, because whom we are what we are today. And third is a prayer for protection. Let whatever we are reading or hearing or whatever, for example, if you're writing, let they may be of in service of you, like that. So here through this invocation, there is a indirect or not indirect, may appear indirect, but there's an indirect glorification of the Lord. And how glorification of the Lord has been established here, because the subject matter is about Ishvara. So this verse itself talks about Ishvara. What a fantastic word. Let's take a look at word to word now. Om, the complete whole. Purnam, perfectly complete. Adaha, that. Purnam, perfectly complete. Idam, this phenomenal world. Purnat, from the all perfect. Purnam, complete unit. Udachyate, produced. Purnasya, of the complete whole. Purnam, completely all. Adaya, having been taken away. Purnam, the complete balance. Eva, even. Avashishyate is remaining. In essence, this verse is saying this material world, which is complete in itself, has manifested from the complete unit. Although this complete material world, which has been taken from the complete unit, remains complete in itself. You're getting it? Just like this is talking about special mathematics. In the material world, 1 plus 1 equals to 2, 1 minus 1 equals to 0. In spiritual world, 1 plus 1 is 11, 1 minus 1 is also 11. It is always complete. There is no negation. This introduces such an important concept which Prabhupada is going to mention. Fantastic purport here. In other words, this verse is saying in this material world is Purna. Purna Vadachyate have manifested from the Purna, and this material world is also Purna, which means for us to live and to exit this world, everything has been provided. For example, if let's say, let me define it, give you a case study. What would you call it? Imagine somebody's parents are wealthy. If they're wealthy, it's but natural. Let's say they're wealthy, they're loving and caring also towards their kids. So is it fair enough for me to make a statement? The kids in this particular family would definitely be taken care of very nicely. They will not have any lack of anything. They're born to a wealthy family, the parents are loving and caring. So their emotional needs, their physical needs, all are taken care? Yes or no? Yes. Which means when it is said this world is complete, in that family, you cannot expect a child to cry about mujhe ye nahi mila, mere sang ye bura hua. Yes or no? Similarly, in this world, nobody can say, I am a victim. या मेरे संग बुरा हुआ है या हमारे पास sufficient. Therefore, you will now, from this perspective, look at Prabhupada's writing. Prabhupada will always make a point. There is abundance in this world. There is no scarcity of food. There is no scarcity of land. It is all created artificially. Food shortage, artificial. Land shortage, artificial. People will tell us, there's so much countryside available, there's so much land. You say there is population, overpopulation, artificial. Nothing like that. This world is complete. And that's why, if you look at it, go to Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, verses 20, 21, 22, particularly those three verses talk about there's no victimhood. Nobody can say, I am a victim. No. For example, in a family which is loving and caring, parents are loving, caring, and they're very rich, which means the kids can be taken care entirely. Now, if the kid, despite providing every facility, everything to the child, if the kid goes and puts his hand on the fire and begins to cry, "Mera haath jal gaya, mera haath jal gaya, mera haath jal gaya," who is responsible? Who is responsible? The child is responsible. Everything is provided, which means protection is also there, security is also there, everything is there. Just like if you put your hand on the fire, immediately puts a heating sensation. That's a inbuilt security system in our body. Because if that sensation would not be created, our hand will be burnt to ashes. Yes or no? So security is provided. But why did you put the hand in the fire? Who is responsible? We. So there is nothing called as victimhood. Nobody is a victim. Everyone in this world is only culprit. Therefore, this is a prison house. Therefore, this is a prison house. This is all bogus. I'm just giving you a very brief definition. This is the thing which you can elaborate and think a lot. This is not meant for me to speak so much. We're supposed to go back and read Prabhupada's words, but just to give you some food for thought. This world is complete in itself. For us to live happily and to exit this world. Vedic knowledge have been existing from the beginning of the time and have always existed. Yet, despite providing education, let's say the parents provide best of the education, gets us son admitted into the best of the school. बच्चा पढ़ता ही नहीं है, किसकी गलती है? Can anything the school does about the child? If he's flunking in the exam, parents have spent all the money, but the child will not study only. Who is responsible? So if we are in this material world, who is responsible? हम अभी भी घसीट रहे हैं यहाँ पर. Hum he responsible. Was there what teachers are not available? I mean, the acharyas are not available. Vedic knowledge is not available. What is missing? Everything. Now go back to the 15th chapter, verse number 12, 13, 14, 15. Krishna talks about how I am the maintainer. I provide for the body. I provide for the subtle body, and I provide for the soul. But how many of you agree? For example, there Krishna says, those are very beautiful verses. I love this. Somehow skipped my head. 1 second quickly. 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And I'm just coming to the verses quickly. Yeah, it's already here. So, yes. Yadadityagadam tejo jagadbhasadakilam yachandrasi yachagno tattejo vidimamakam. Splendor of the sun which dissipates the darkness of this whole world comes from me. Krishna says, I'm repeating. And the splendor of the moon and splendor of fire also from me. Gama Vishyacha Bhutani Dharyami Hamojasai. Jitne bhi bhautik jagat mein, jitne bhi cosmic entities hain, how are they moving in their respective positions? I am by my energy keeping them. Pushnami Chaushadhi Sarva. Pushnami, poshan karta hu. Chaushadhi, matlab aushadhi, which means your vegetables. Soma Bhutva Rasatmaka, through the means of the moon, which supplies the juice. 14th verse. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva. I am the fire. Prani Namdeham presented all living entities. Pranapana Samayukta, inhaling and exhaling. I am that air. Pachami Anam Chaturvidham, and I digest the food stuff consumed by the living entity. And then Sarvasachaham with his Vishnu Mataspati Jnanam Apanamcha. So Krishna has provided everything. Krishna is maintaining in and out. How many of you agree? We still find ourselves in a position where we think, जीवन में कुछ कमी है, कुछ तो मिसिंग है. हाथ खड़ा करो, किस किस को लगता है ये? Something is missing in my life. खड़ा करो हाथ, शर्माओ मत, केवल मुस्कुराओ नहीं, हाथ खड़ा करके मुझे दिखा दो, पता चले कि तुम लोग को मेरी भाषा समझ आ रही है. Yes or no? Now this purport will answer why you have abundance of everything. I was reading about recently about the Himalayas. So it was mentioned about how in the past you don't even have to do farming. You don't even have to do farming. The forests in the Himalayas would have abundance of fruits and vegetables on its own. You'll have dates trees, you have mango trees, apricots, whatever you need. I was reading about it, this is back to 1910, 1920. I was reading about the childhood of one yogi, and he said, we had this 4 acre of farmland. We never grew any trees. There were trees always there. And these trees last for hundreds of years. And every year after year, they give you fruits and vegetables. They're nothing, they're there. We just used to go into the garden and pluck and eat. That's it. How many of you in your childhood have climbed a tree and have plucked some fruits or some dates and all that? Yes, we all have done it. We all have come from some village background, isn't it? Who proved it? Nothing. वो किसी ने उस पर ठप्पा लगा दिया मेरा ट्री है, उसने थोड़ा लगाया ट्री वहां पर. Abundance was available. And it's like गधों की तरह लोग संघर्ष मारते हैं. हाँ भाई, IT fellows, तुम्हारे संघर्ष की कमी नहीं है. Measure घिसाता रहता है. I mean, abundance was available like this. Like this, so things were available. So this verse mentions, I mean, of course, today we are living in a time where things have been artificially imposed on us, artificial shortage, artificial poor quality of food and whatnot. So that's something beyond us. But I'm saying, despite Lord providing everything, why do we still feel shortage? Why we do feel something missing? And it's not that it is happening only now. It was definitely happening for Ravan also. तभी तो बार बार ये दिल मांगे मोर. जब भी किसी नई लड़की को देखता था, ये दिल मांगे मोर. Why दिल मांगे मोर? When you have if in case you have eaten up to here, which is to be satisfied. If everything has been provided, why to become so greedy? So it's a problem with the conditioned living entity in this world, not with the time. It doesn't matter which time you are born in. We've had Ranakaship in Satya Yuga, we have Ravan in the Treta Yuga, and we had Kamsa and many other of his fellow beings in the Dwapara Yuga, and then every one of us in Kali Yuga. All right? So once in a while there used to be demons in Kali Yuga, everyone is like that. Purport mentions the reason. Let's take a look at the purport. Beautiful purport. The complete whole or the supreme absolute truth is the complete personality of Godhead. Impersonal Brahman forms an incomplete realization of the absolute complete. So also does the conception of Paramatma, the super soul. The supreme personality Godhead is Satchidananda Vigraha. Impersonal Brahman realization is a realization of a Sat or eternity aspect, and Paramatman, super soul realization, is a realization of a Sat and Chit, eternity and knowledge aspects. But realization of the personality Godhead is a realization of all the transcendental features, Satchidananda of bliss. In the personal concept, this is realized in complete form, Vigraha, and so the complete whole is not formless. If he is formless, or if he is less than his creation or any other thing, it cannot be complete. The complete whole must have everything, both within our experience and beyond our experience. Otherwise, he cannot be complete. So in this purport, first paragraph, we're talking about absolute truth at 3 levels. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Shabdyate. Satchit Anand is a realization. Lord is both form and form. These are 3 points discussed. Next paragraph. All right. Madanda Radhika, your hand is up. Read the second paragraph.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The complete whole, the personality of Godhead, has immense potencies, all of which are as complete as he is. Thus, his phenomenal world is also complete in itself. The 24 elements of which this material universe is a temporary manifestation are arranged to produce everything necessary for the maintenance and subsistence of this universe. No other unit in the universe need make an extraneous effort to try to maintain the universe. The universe functions on its own time scale, which is fixed by the energy of the complete whole, and When that schedule is completed, this temporary manifestation will be annihilated by the complete arrangement of the complete whole.
So what Prabhupada is indicating here, what would you understood from this particular paragraph? What is Prabhupada indicating? What should we do? So Lord has immense potencies, and from those immense potencies, one of the potency has created this material world, which is complete in itself. The 24 elements which produce necessary things for the maintenance substance of the universe. You ain't producing anything. The 24 elements produce, the nature produces. You're not producing anything. The nature produces, completely required things necessary for the maintenance substance of the universe. No extraneous effort by any other unit is required for this maintenance. On the name of maintenance, we only call destruction. Okay? The universe has its own time fixed by the energy of the complete whole. अभी ये सोचना कि दुनिया पहले भस्म हो जाएगी, वो भी नहीं होने वाली. Again, artificial fear. So the universe has its own time fixed by the energy of the complete whole. And when the time is complete, this whole world will be annihilated on its own. You ain't gonna do it. Vishnu ji have already expanded as Shivji for that purpose. All right. So mera kya? What is my job profile? Can anyone give me one job profile now? तुम्हें खाने पीने की चिंता करनी नहीं, पानी की चिंता क्यों नहीं करनी? You have a fresh water stream. You don't have to worry about water. You don't have to worry about food because the forest is filled with every required things for you to consume for yourself. You don't have to worry about your living. From those shrubs and things you can build your hut and whatnot. तुम्हारा आहार, निद्रा, भया, मैथुनम सब हो गया. So why are you struggling? So what is our job profile? Now my point is, why Lord has provided everything? Despite providing for the Lord everything, we are still struggling. We are still struggling. ये तो अद्भुत जीव है. चारों युगों में एक अद्भुत जीव पैदा हुआ है. कलयुग में सब कुछ देने के बाद फिर स्ट्रगल मार रहा है. क्यों स्ट्रगल कर रहा है भाई तू? What is our job profile? For example, let me put it this way. Again, go back to the example of parents. Let's say the parents have provided everything. He gets his food in time. Water, every facility, basically all is provided. Everything is provided for his education. उसको खेलने के लिए चाहिए तो खेलने के लिए उसको जो भी गेम्स चाहिए सब दे रखा है. रईस बाप का लड़का है. Everything is provided. What is the job profile of the child now? Me as a parent, what would you expect? What should be the job profile of the child? What is the job profile of the child? He should be happy. Basic thing. यार सब कुछ तो दिया है तेरे को, फिर भी रो रहा है. तुझे रोना पसंद है, तू रो. खाना छीन लेता हूं, पानी छीन लेता हूं. I remove facilities from you. I mean, unnecessary we are struggling. Unnecessary we are crying. Yes or no? Despite you being as a parent, think for yourself. You have provided everything. Best of the facility for the child. For what? He can be happy. She can be happy. But he or she is still complaining. Still crying. Still fighting. Then whose problem it is? Similarly, now come back to the living entity. When the Lord has provided everything, do you have to do anything for the fresh water to drink? You have only one thing to do. Don't contaminate it. Only one thing to do. Don't spoil it. But what we have done, we have spoiled it. So now we have to put a filtering process to purify it. हम अपना ही कचरा करके अपना ही कचरा पी रहे हैं. Isn't it? So we spoil it. So Lord provided the water to drink. The whole, the water recycling process is natural. Ocean water, everything goes to ocean. Ocean water gets evaporated, turns to rain cloud, comes to the land, turns into a river. It's a cyclic process. You get a fresh water drink. You have no scarcity of food, vegetables, whatnot. If everything is provided, what is our job profile? What is expected from living entity? Who would like to answer? कितना सरल होता चाचा, मैं दोबारा क्यों पूछता? हाँ भाई. बड़े कॉन्फिडेंटली तुमने बोला हैप्पीनेस. इतना सरल होता तो मैं क्यों पूछता दोबारा? Answer is not that. अगर वो आंसर होता तो मैं तो एनालॉजी पहले दे दी, वो बच्चे के लिए था. What is the job profile? What is expected from us now? What is the job profile? All right, let's. Yes, who is speaking? Go ahead.
Ganesh here.
बोलिए प्रभु.
Prabhuji, I think we are a custodian. We are just a custodian and we have to protect what is already there.
अरे वो ये प्रोटेक्ट के चक्कर में तो सारा लफड़ा. That's not your job profile. Give me one reference where Krishna said you're a custodian and you have to protect. So what is your job profile? Okay, Mother Jyoti or Desh Prabhu. What's the job profile? Entity in this environment where everything has been provided.
Our job profile is mainly reforming and purifying our consciousness.
That's it. Our job profile is simple. To purify, come back to Godhead. Those who do so, Krishna provides everything. And those who don't do so, they continue to struggle despite you become the president or the ex-president of USA. Poor fellow still has to go for the court hearing. I'm talking Donald Trump, for example. Why did you think about it? Indira Gandhi, unfortunately, she had to, whatever going to happen. And anyone, this person has to continue to suffer. It's not that because you become the richest person, you will not have indigestion. The problem continues. So this, you see the whole thing put into picture. The whole this world is provided. Everything has been provided for one thing. ठीक है भाई, अब तुझे समझ आ जाए गलती हो गई है. Now reform. Therefore, the human life is meant for tapasya, tapasa brahmacharina, samena cha, damena cha. Like this. So we have to perform tapasya for the pleasure. Therefore, it is said, atapambe dujashreshtha vanashram vibhagashaha Swanuthitasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. आपके वर्ण, आपके कार्य कर्म का कोई फायदा नहीं अगर आपके कार्य के द्वारा, कर्मों के द्वारा आपने प्रभु को प्रसन्न नहीं किया. That is not meant for you to make a money and live your life. Meant for using in the service of the Lord. Now you'll get the actual reason in the next paragraph why we are still suffering and struggling despite everything we provided by the Lord. There is complete facility for the small complete units, namely the living beings. Interesting way Prabhupada is putting, we are small units. To realize the complete and, very important, all forms of incompleteness are experienced only on account of incomplete knowledge of the complete. Wow. The human form of life is a complete manifestation of the consciousness of the living being, which is obtained after evolving through 8.4 million species of life and the cycle of birth and death. If a human being does not realize his completeness within the complete in this life, within the complete in this life full of consciousness, he loses the chance of realizing his completeness and is put again into the cycle of evolution by the law of material nature. So if you don't go through the process of purification, reformation, then there is a system created, which is called as laws of nature. The laws of nature would force you back to take birth in this material world. How many of you here chose or took birth by your own sweet will? How many of you took birth in this world by your sweet will, my free will? आप स्वतंत्र देश के स्वतंत्र निवासी हो. कितना स्वतंत्र निर्णय लिया था कि जन्म लूंगा मैं भारत में? कौन कौन है? हाथ उठाओ. So which means if you did not, where is your free will? Where is your sweet will? Which means you're forced then. That's the point. So if you don't go through the process of formation, purification, then you're forced by the laws of nature. Now, why we are experiencing this incompleteness, emptiness, and which is greatly fulfilled today by Facebook, Instagram, and what's not? People are there on social media just to get over this incompleteness only. And therefore, these companies have a big section of psychologists who keeps giving them suggestions on what additions to be made into their product. Not the IT engineers giving suggestions. Psychologists are giving. because they know the psychology, they understand the weakness of the person, and they know, do this, karke. I mean, look at it, for example, YouTube videos and YouTube shorts, viral ho gaya. Then we have this world, I don't know about much of Instagram, but we can talk about Facebook. I remember back in 2003, 2004, we used to use Orkut, if you can remember, which was very boring, And Orkut was actually made by Google employee from Brazil. And the idea of Facebook came from Orkut only. Orkut was a student from Brazil, an employee of Google, who made the Orkut, and it became famous in South America and became a little famous in North America. North America already had something else by that time. I don't know what was it. Remember right now. And then a college student, a Stanford student, they put it as a college project and they started Facebook. And then they incidentally, accidentally, were lucky enough, launched add-ons on their product, which were addictive. That's how Facebook became famous. I mean, frankly speaking, even if I go on Facebook now, I'll lose myself. I lost my heart in Vrindavan. Now people say I lost my heart in Facebook. You totally lose yourself when you go to Facebook. Tung, tung, tung. How you see the wall? You keep scrolling the wall only. It's an endless wall like this. Very interesting. And then you keep getting the updates from your friends, family members, whatnot. व्यक्ति को अपने अलावा दुनिया भर का पता है। ये आज हमारी अवस्था हो गई है सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन की। इतना रियलाइजेशन हो गया दूसरों का, अपने चिंता ही नहीं है। So this all is happening because of these tools gives us a little opportunity to overcome our incompleteness. And what is that? That incompleteness is rising because of incomplete knowledge of Supreme Personality Godhead. Aren't they trying to get knowledge about others? Not others, about everyone. If you look at what the tools are facilitating, these tools are facilitating that you can get knowledge about everyone. Yes or no? And what is Prabhupada writing here? The feeling of incompleteness is rising because of incomplete knowledge of the absolute truth. And what these tools are promising? We will give you the complete knowledge of everyone. Probably they got a clue from Isopanishad. They got a clue from Isopanishad how to target these fellows. So that's what is happening. And therefore, people are so glued to this platform, because that's the need of the soul. All right. Reasons for incompleteness, Nikhil and Madan Sundar. Go ahead, read the next paragraph.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranam. Because we do not know that there is a complete arrangement in nature for our maintenance. We make efforts to utilize the resource of nature to create a so-called complete life of sense enjoyment. Because the living entity cannot enjoy the life of the senses without being dovetailed with the complete whole. The misleading life of sense enjoyment is illusion. The hand of a body is a complete unit only as long as it is attached to the complete body. When the hand is severed from the body, it may appear like a hand, but it actually has none of the potencies of a hand. Similarly, living beings are part and parcel of the complete whole, and if they are severed from the complete whole, the illusory representation of completeness cannot fully satisfy them. The completeness of human life can be realized only when one engages in the service of the complete whole. All services in this world, whether social, political, communal, international, or even interplanetary, will remain incomplete until they are dovetailed with the complete whole. When everything is dovetailed with the complete whole, the attached part and parcels also become complete in themselves. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Wow, what a beautiful statement. When everything is dovetailed with the complete whole, the attached parts and parcels also become complete in themselves. Which means, one way of taking this is, when we serve the Supreme Personality Godhead, so those who are connected with us, they also become satisfied. Complete means what? Satisfied. They also become satisfied. Now, some of you may say, Prabhuji, aisa to nahi hota, hamare parivar wale gussa karte hain. That's unfortunate situation today. People don't mind, parents don't mind the boy or the girl moving with the girlfriend or boyfriend. The parents don't mind today if once the boy got a job, he goes to pub and bar, or he smokes. Maybe smoking is injurious, so they may mind, but he drinks alcohol, or let's say he goes for a late night movie. People mind these days. ISKCON मंदिर चला गया? होए, ये क्या कर दिया तूने? बदमाश, Teri umra hi hai. And now you imagine such a troubled time. Yeah. You're going to a place of Lord. Parents get into anxiety. कहाँ चला गया? क्यों चला गया ये? You know, I mean, it's so awkward, so strange is the behavior of the people there. So, therefore, in this environment, when you take to Krishna consciousness, it takes a while for your attached part and parcels to really get awakened up to this understanding. It ain't gonna be easy in the beginning. But with my life's experience, I have not seen in the beginning, for these people, you know, these are potencies of illusion. They're nothing but illusion personified. They're totally ignorant and they want us to live an ignorant life. Now, because they are totally confused, now when you take to the right path, they're gonna pull you down. But if you get pulled down, then you lose the opportunity and then you also allow them to continue to live in the ignorant way. But if you become determined, it's a matter of time, they would also get purified with your association, direct and indirect, and they would also get awakened. Look at any example of any devotee. In the beginning was a struggle, but later on, now the parent says, Beta, bahut acha kar raha hai. At least if I talk about brahmacharis, I don't know any brahmachari parents who after 3-4 years or 5 years less in max would say, Tune galat kiya. In the beginning, they did a lot of hangama, but afterwards, that's the point here. When everything is dovetailed with the complete whole. Now, for example, as a brahmachari, prana, artha, dhiya, vacha. He's given everything in the service of the Lord. He's given his prana, he's given earth, he's given his wealth. Dhiya, intelligence, vacha means speech. He's given everything in the service of the Lord. When everything is dovetailed with the complete whole, the attached parts and parts also become complete. So why wouldn't family members pick it up? Why wouldn't? But it's a matter of time. And why it's a matter of time, I have told, because times have changed a lot. People have become too much in mode of ignorance. So they really cannot understand activities of mode of goodness. But this holds true. If we stick to it, it happens. So anyways, this is a fantastic verse. So much to reflect on. I'll just do a quick recap what we did a discussion and then we take it forward. Next time on, we'll start from mantra number 1. So this is invocation. The key point of this verse is the complete unit, which means the material creation is complete in itself as manifested from the complete spiritual world. Despite this complete unit manifesting from the spiritual world, the spiritual world remains all complete. Our focus of discussion was how this world is complete. And if the world is complete, then how can we make a hue and cry, mujhe ye nahi mila, ye nahi mila? There should not be any question of dissatisfaction. There should not be any question of conflict or complaints. So Krishna says this is complete. We gave an example. There's abundance of fresh water. We contaminated it. There's abundance of plants and vegetable. We destroyed it, deforestation. We caused it because we wanted to build highways and whatnot. So it is our problem. We created a problem. But it has been provided in abundance by the Lord. Now, why there is a dissatisfaction if everything has been provided? Dissatisfaction, Prabhupada says, because of having incomplete. All the experience of incompleteness is only because of incomplete knowledge of the absolute truth. So if we can start to learn about the absolute truth, the sense of emptiness will go away. Because of that emptiness, we are feeling frustrated. Now, question arises, which we discussed during the course of our this particular verse, that if everything is provided here, then what is our job profile? Lord has taken care of everything. I quoted 15th chapter, verse number 12, 13, 14, 15 also. If Lord has provided everything, then what is the job profile? 2 things. 1, it is expected we be happy. Everything is there. Second is to purify, reform, go back home, back to God. And if you don't do so, then laws of nature are created. It will keep giving you, forcing you to take birth again and again to different species. Therefore, I asked the question, how many of you had a sweet will to take a birth? Nobody. Which means somebody had forces to take a birth again. That is the laws of nature. So we only have one simple job profile, nothing else. We make this whole creation very complicated by thinking about महान मुझे बहुत कुछ करना है, कुछ नहीं करना. तो मैं सिर्फ अपना शुद्धिकरण करना है. तपसा ब्रह्मचारेण शमेन दमयेन, like that. It is tapo divyam putra gayena sattvam shuddhyat sokhyam atma, like that. Brahma sokyam anantam, like that. Rishabdev speaks to his sons. So our job profile is to purify, to reform, And how do we do so? At the end of the proper mentions, when everything is dovetailed with the complete whole, the attached parts and parts also become complete in themselves. So what we need to do, we have to plan, we have to think how I can engage my prana, artha, dhiya, and vacha in the service of the Lord. Everything is provided by the Lord. Our prana is given by the Lord, artha is given by the Lord, intelligence is given by the Lord, vacha, the ability to speak, is come from the Lord. So how we can use this in the service of the Lord is what we need to think about. And like that, when we engage all these facilities in service of the Lord, we begin to experience completeness, and people around us, we give an example how they will be troubled in the beginning, but gradually they'll come to their senses and they'll come to also understand the importance of Krishna consciousness, spiritual life. That's the whole subject matter of this particular verse. Hare Krishna. Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any quick questions or comments? Today is Thursday, Ashadi Ekadashi. Oh, today is His Holiness Lokanath Swami Maharaj appearance day. His Holiness Lokanath Swami Maharaj ki jai. So tomorrow is Friday. Friday morning we'll have a Bhagavatam, which is third canto, 6th or the 7th chapter, whichever chapter we will discuss that tomorrow, like that. And Saturday, not sure about it. Sunday, they definitely not have another program. And Monday, Tuesday, I'm not here. So mostly we'll meet for this reading next Wednesday or Thursday. And we'll meet tomorrow for Bhagavatam, those who have been attending Bhagavatam class. Overview of each chapter that we'll have tomorrow. Hare Krishna. So any concluding questions or any point on mention? Krishna Chandrapur, go ahead.
Yeah, Prabhu, I just want to find out, like we know Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Krishna, Arjuna, Bhagavatam. The Isopanishad, who actually spoke this or who wrote this, Prabhu?
So Upanishads are written by sages at different times. These are the revelations. This is a conversation between Manu. I had written it somewhere. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his commentary writes this. During our Isopanishad, what is that? During this Bhakti Shastri study, I have told that I'm missing the name. This is a conversation, a kind of a prayer being offered to by Manu to one of the forms of the Lord. Wait a second. I have it written in my book also somewhere. God centered Brahma Samhita. Formless. Just give me one quick second. I am personal. Uttam 6, oneness. Oh, Hare Krishna. I have written in my book somewhere. It's in my notes for sure. If I look into my notes, I'll come back to it later on, but let me just see quickly. I remember writing on top of one of the reports. Social media, culture. हाँ यहाँ पर आएगा. Yeah, this is Swayambhuva Manu speaking to Yajna Avatar.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Swayambhuva Manu speaking to Yajna Avatar, like this. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. And what is that Gita for self-growth? That needs to be recorded again. And we are planning to soon have a question answer session. So we'll make an announcement like that. So we'll have a dedicated podcast for question answer. If in case any one of you have any questions, you can take it. And the following episodes will come maybe by next week. Some of you are asking, so like that. Yes, Mother Prachi, your hand is up.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Very well.
So, Prabhuji, I had one very small query. Like you were saying, no, like parents are providing everything. Then what is the minimum expectation from child? That you said just be happy.
Yes.
Right? But मतलब अगर हम ऐसे देखा जाए तो मतलब what I was thinking in another perspective, I thought maybe the least expectation is, just be grateful to your parents and, be of a good character. Something like that means like parents to gratitude in the sense भगवान को gratitude करो ऐसे. Because just happy तो बहुत सारे लोग material world में रहते हैं. भगवान के दिए हुए सारे चीजों का इस्तेमाल करके they're just happy but they don't recognize the Lord.
So question was not about Bhagwan or the understanding of the Lord here. The question was the analogy was a very simple analogy. Even if an atheist, but well-to-do family, what would they expect from their kids if they're providing everything? The minimal everyone would expect is be happy. And what you're talking about is gratefulness and all that. In today's day and time, is very difficult. Very difficult. We are so selfish and self-absorbed now. बार-बार लौट फिर के मेरा क्या वो गाते रहते हैं. So, I mean, it's a great fortune for oneself also if an individual can maintain gratitude. In general, it's very difficult because of the nature of the world today and the day and time. But I'm saying what is the least expected is happiness. And then gratitude, recognition of the Lord and all that, that follows afterwards. That requires a high character, high caliber. You know, theist, atheist, agnostic, across every platform, minimal expectation would be, chalo yaar, bacha khush rahe. Hai na? That was an analogy. That was an analogy. Therefore, when I said, what does Lord want from us? I did not say that as an answer when it was given. I said, no.
I was thinking that Lord wants from us that, we...
No, Anshul Pro said that. I said, no, it was so easy, then why would I have asked that? Answer was no, because I've already given an analogy. What Lord wants, then Mother Jyoti said, purify, reform, go back to that. First quoted, Tapodivyam Putra Kahina Satyam. And yes, of course, happiness, be happy. And when you remember the Lord, you'll be happy, no doubt about it. Like that. Okay. Hare Krishna, thank you all for joining in. And I'll let you know what my schedule. Mostly the session would happen next on Wednesday, or if in case it can happen on Saturday, we'll let you know about it. Jai Guru, Srila Prabhupada.